little bit of a long pause or delay between the right, left. It could be a little more smooth. Eyes up track. Nice speed through there. Parallel and adjacent. That was good parallel, but
should I keep going slower on that one?
slower.
One more time. Slower on 9.
No. The speed was good. You know, we just want to make sure we're fully right early. We've got that carrot in front of us, so that's kind of fun. Like between 14 and 15. You don't want to sort of overstep it too much. Come out, feeding the grip, feeding the grip. And turning in on that, hold the steering input. The car can track out a little, but we want to be left, a little bit of right. The speed is good. And it's a quick release, fully track right, turning in, look at that track out area, look at that area. Parallel and adjacent. That was a little bit angled. Braking is really good. When I say I think you're using the brakes well and effectively.
Thank you. That was very well timed. Let the car wash out, keep the steering input in, it'll bring our car over. Now get a little bit of dial in.
was a great turn in. Fully track right, fully track right. Start to turn in. Eyes up track, eyes up track, eyes up track. Turning in, parallel and adjacent. It takes a while, but the more laps you have under the belt, the more you'll kind of get a sense for it.
Now.
Yeah. Get out of the, why don't we go to the bottom? You know, just over here on the left is good. That was a red flag. So they're kind of, when I say, you know, it was a red flag that I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll just stop here. They're kind of at fault here. They should, like I say, you come to a controlled stop kind of immediately. Preferably offline, preferably within the view of a flag. But like, they're probably not going to get black flag. But sometimes people get black flagged in a situation like that, just so that the person can make sure they know what to do in a red flag. This is, you know, everyone in this.
I'm not leaving. I'm just trying to keep my brakes from. Seasoning.
Kind of looking to, it looks like he saw a red flag out there.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times, you know, in this group, in the solo group, most of the people have from like 1 to 6 days driving experience. So when I say people are pretty new, you know, most people aren't trying to violate, you know, flag or anything. They just, sometimes they don't know. I mean, most track days, you don't see a red flag. We've seen a couple today.
Yeah. I still see the flags. So I think. Yeah, these last couple of laps have felt good. It feels like tying it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think your transition or your consistency with the line, when I say you are sort of you know, bringing things together, things are flowing quite well, you know, lap in and lap out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that was about our third lap, maybe our fourth lap, but
yeah, 9, I still need to get that angle right. I'm still kind of not, I'm now getting better at placing myself, but I need to make sure that I'm positioning myself in the correct forward facing and all that, because I feel like I'm still
which
9.
Oh, for 9.
I feel like I'm still kind of angled in more than I
you know,
ought to
the
be.
thing about 9 is, you know, 9, if a person does it like I'm kind of, you know, it is blind, and a person's like pretty close to the edge of the track, you know, at a high rate of speed, it definitely, you know, it takes a while to sort of get comfortable and familiar with, but
9 feels a lot better with with more speed though, because it naturally kind of pushes you to where you should be.
Yeah.
Versus trying to do it slow, you're mimicking movements without really cause.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point of, like, you know, tracking out, you know, with like turn 2. We don't have to be at the edge of the track, and we're not really doing it. But if a person sort of widens the radius of the turn, it's the fastest line. So we want to start, I mean, you want to start, I'll say, accelerating a little bit earlier, and that'll kind of, you know, transfer the weight from front to back, and the car will kind of, the front tires won't have as much traction and adhesion. They'll be lighter, so the car will kind of push wide.
I can't tell if the flag's still up or not.
I think he has it mostly pointed like there.
Okay.
We'll
see somebody go by.
We'll see cars.
Move it, inch it a little bit more.
Yeah, actually, I see a red flag.
Okay, yeah, I see it again. You must have taken it out of the holster and just pointed at somebody or something.
Okay,
Green.
black and yellow.
Black and yellow.
So
Okay. We'll head back in.
Yep. Surprised if it's solo.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you guys deserve it. I haven't heard anything though.
Yeah. Usually decided early on. I don't know if we had as many problems early. Seems like they've all kind of happened later.
You can go through. I'll tell you, it's hard to. Well, actually, let's see. I'd probably go up here.
Yeah.
Just to play it safe. I think it's 55. It started at 35, and it's a 20-minute. I think it's a 20-minute session.
We wouldn't even get a lap.
Well,
because it's supposed to be 35 to 55, I think.
I think that's right.
Track days in heat is a whole other thing.
Oh, completely. And I'll tell you, it can be, you know, this is like, I'll say mid-90s or,
It is.
You know, if it's 10 degrees hotter, which it can easily be, it's exponential.
Yeah. Yeah, the tires I don't think will react quite the same way. They'll become soupy.
Yeah. you know, it's still, well, actually now it's beginning of June. I always kind of figure, well, days or a couple weeks, mid-June through the end of August, it's going to be hot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're really linking the turns well, in that there's good rhythm coming around the track.
Thanks. Yeah, like particularly like 3 and stuff. It felt like I was taking it naturally rather than each time going, oh yeah, 3 I have to slow down on.
Yeah.
It was just, oh, yeah, brake on the hill and into 3.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you know, this sort of gets back to, if a person has a good entry speed, the turn comes together much better, because a person's not spending the first half of the turn kind of getting the car under control, fighting for repositioning, blah, blah, blah. When I say a person sort of gets to the entry slower because a person just enters it more in a planned way, in a controlled way, whereas if a person carries too much speed too long, you really lose, because it's half the turn before you're really in control, and there's only half the turn less. Maybe you're already past the apex to take charge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and interesting kind of, you know, in the forced times that you have to play with turns where, you know, again, where you've got traffic or other things kind of slowing you down. Back when when the Viper came back in, and I had to kind of slow down before that group, coming into 14 and 15 slower, I found that I really wasn't exiting that much slower than I was when I was doing it with intent.
Yeah.
Which kind of speaks to how much I have to gain in those 2 turns.
You know, that's, you know, if a person sort of enters under control a little bit slower, you know, you're kind of a little bit further behind. In all likelihood, a person's rolling on the power a little bit sooner. Person's on a better line, but as much as anything, a person's rolling on the power a little bit earlier, because when I say there's just more time to take control of the car, where when a person kind of comes in, you got there faster, but you kind of lose it, what you gained, and you never make up for what stood to be had.
Right. Yeah, and kind of the fast in, slow out.
Yeah,
type
yeah,
thing.
yeah. And that's exactly, I mean, like with turn 11, you know, turn 11 is really the start of a straightaway. There are those S's, but you know, with good driving, as soon as you're coming through that turn 11 apex, you're really rolling on the power. You're starting a long straightaway that starts with those S's, but you know, you're really, when I say that, as soon as you can start rolling on the power, accelerating the car, the better, because it's a long straight. So if you can kind of be on the power fraction of a second earlier and gain a mile an hour or 2, well, you're starting a mile. You're going to be flying
that'll
it anyway.
be translating all the way down.
Yeah.
Now, and I don't feel like I got 11 right any of this session, really.
Well,
there was one time where I slowed down too much, and I think that was the best of the laps taking that one. But yeah, I didn't feel like it's one of those things that's funny, because you kind of sometimes will let other lessons get away from you as you start to pick up on some of the other ones. You know, as confidence increases and speed increases, errors also creep in. Yeah, the ones that weren't there before, because, like, you know, 11 was one I didn't have any trouble with. You know, 11 through 14 was one I didn't really have any trouble with in early sessions where I was taking it slower. Yeah. But here, where I was coming in hotter off of the Triumphs up ahead, or
Yeah.
behind it, I found that I was not where I should be.
Yeah. Well, the real key with 11 is how early can a person be rolling on the power? Sure, it's nicer to be at a higher speed when a person's rolling on the power, but the real key is how early can a person be rolling on the power, because at that point you're accelerating and you're going to be carrying all that speed, under constant acceleration for 15 seconds or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that one really is slow in, fast out.
Yeah, I think on that one, if you're 2 miles an hour slower through the turn, but you're a second faster, you're coming out ahead. So I think what I'm doing, I think where my mind is, where I'm coming into 11, is more on the pointing in towards the cone and less on the actual start of the turn. I think I need to take a step back, stop trying to find, because I feel like I'm trying to find the very edge of the track, and that is taking so much concentration that I don't really have much left when it comes to finding the apex.
Yeah. Well, here's one thing I'll say. Chances are the car is going pretty straight, in the sense that there's not a lot of steering input. So a person can really look for the apex without, you don't have to be inordinately distracted by fully track right. I mean, that's where you start, but once you're kind of there, you're not going to have steering input where a person's going to go off the track.
Right.
I mean, the wheel is pointed straight, the car is going straight, it's not angled, person is near the edge of the track. You can really start sort of focusing on the apex and the turning, because like on that turn, a person is right side of the track for, well, you come through the turn before, you're right side of the track going parallel, so you're not really angled. With like 9, depending on how a person comes through 9, you are kind of angled off the track. If you're parallel and adjacent, everything's going to unfold well. So you don't have to focus as much on track right if you're already track right. If you're not track right, well, you have to get there. But a lot of times when a person's going straight, going parallel, and you don't have to over manage just that, you're already there.
Yeah, I feel like one of the other things is I always feel like I should have my eyes out farther than they really are. I do find that I'm jumping from action to action more than I know I should. It's one of those things that's a really hard habit to break.
It is. It is. You know what? Don't get in the habit. Don't get in the habit. It's only been a few times that you've done this. You know what? They say like something like the chains of habit are too, what is it? The chains of habit are too heavy to be, no, they're too, something be felt until they're too heavy to break. So when I say, this is why, like I say, I want to get you in the habit of smooth inputs, eyes up track, stuff like that. And it really, it's the good habit to get into.
Yeah, those reminders, as we're going through and you're, saying track out and all that stuff, it's helpful because, naturally when you say that, my eyes go there without even having to think about it. And now I'm where, my eyes are where they should be rather than where they were.
And chances are, if there's not a car right in front of you, nothing really crazy is going to happen. It's not like a person, if you see a turn there, you don't see that turn, oh, I'm off the track. You kind of, the car will go where you're looking. So if you look up track, that's where the car is going. You don't drive some crazy way. I mean, you see it, the inputs will be there, and you won't like make some crazy right before you make a left.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not as scary as it seems to take your eyes off of the immediate future.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
like I say, you know, it's the good habit to get into. It's the good habit, and habits are hard to break. It's getting good habits.
Yeah. Practice makes permanent, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.